Hi, and welcome to your cupping flight from Angel's Cup. This is from about a week ago, so I think it came out to me on November 7th, 2018. It's numbers 6371, 6372, 6377, and 6378. So I'm going to take a look at what's in store. When I was grinding and brewing these, they smelled unbelievable. So I'm really looking forward to this week's cupping flight. So let's start with 6371. Right away I'm getting a kind of like maltiness that I associate with like cola. This also has a really surprising degree of sweetness to it. I'm definitely not getting any kind of like African origin vibe from it. Instead, it sort of seems more South American or Latin American to me. Mainly because of the kind of maltiness that, like kind of malt balls that is coming in with the like kind of sweetness. It sort of reminds me of like dark chocolate covered dried cherries, if you ever had those. Nice. It's a really nice, well balanced coffee. It has a lot of body too. So let's see what they say. This is from Brandywine Coffee. I love Brandywine Coffee. And it's Costa Rican, black honey processed. And their dominant flavor notes are strawberry, cherry jello, and candy apple. And so they're getting a lot of like candy apple, and that it tastes very rich to them, and then maybe there's a little bit of like nutmeg or cocoa powder. So I don't know if I got the nutmeg, but maybe the cocoa powder is what I was feeling around the around the like chocolate covered dark cherries. But yeah, they also had a cherry note, so I'm not totally off. I wouldn't have said Costa Rican though, but I feel as though Brandywine does this a lot, and that there's such a talented roaster that regularly I can't figure out the origin. All right, number one down. So let's compare that to 6372. Right away, this feels much more acidic to me than the last coffee. It has like a real forward brightness. Sort of reminds me of a kind of berry, almost a sort of underripe berry. And its mouthfeel, maybe because of the acidity, definitely feels more delicate to me. So this one, also from Brandywine, I would have maybe guessed Ethiopian because of the strong acidic blueberry, but this is looking like it's also from Costa Rica, but it's a natural process instead of a honey processed. And they're saying, again, the kind of cherry Coke with some blueberry and some sort of sweet tartness. And so I wonder if that it's kind of like the tartness there is more of like the acidity that I'm getting, like the underripe. All right. So this is a delicious coffee, but one of the things that I know from talking to a lot of people about coffee is that this first coffee, the one that feels like a little bit heavier bodied and has a little bit less acidity, might be a coffee that a lot of people would really enjoy, whereas this one that's a little higher acidity might be more of like an artisanal approach. Yeah, definitely. That first one I'm giving to my mother. The second one, I don't know, giving to somebody who wants to geek out a little bit more. All right, so let's check out the next two. This is 6377 and 6378. We'll start with 77. Right away, it smells really different from the other two coffees to me. This one feels much more floral to me. I'm getting some notes that are kind of delicate, but not like that super tart acidity. Instead, it's more kind of tea-like, in that, you know how when you drink certain teas, you can kind of get a sense of like that they once were flowers, like chrysanthemum tea. Yeah, there's a little bit more of a grassy floral note to this one. Very different from the other two. At the end here, I'm getting some sweetness. The sweetness is coming, the dominant thing for me is floral, and the sweetness is kind of coming in after. So let's see what they say. This is an Ethiopian from La Colombe, and it's a natural processed, so that's kind of like the first thing you learn when you taste coffee, I think, is that, like, you know, Ethiopians have this, especially naturally, they have this strong blueberry note. So this definitely notes that, but they're saying that they get a lot of rose and then some nectarine or brown sugar, kind of a yogurt quality from the ferment. I definitely felt the rose a lot, and then the sweetness for me came in towards the end as well. So also a very interesting coffee from La Colombe. When you get their like daily brew in the city, you normally kind of associate it with like some darker rose, something you want to add some cream to. But this is definitely, oh, now I feel like I'm getting the blueberry. I can't tell if that was because I was tipped off. This one definitely feels a little bit more kind of delicate. All right, now our last coffee, 6378. Let's see. This one has a much more smoky flavor to me, but not smoky like it's been darkly roasted. Instead, a kind of like kind of, I don't know, almost like maybe tobacco or yeah, strangely enough, it kind of reminds me of like damp smoke, like kind of smoke that comes when you're, you know, like putting out a campfire or something like that. There's not much acidity. I'm getting maybe like some like mild kind of orange to this. So let's see what it says. They're saying that this is from Think Coffee. It's Nicaraguan, washed, and they say that it's their strong note is tobacco, which I think I mentioned tobacco, didn't I? But I wasn't really going there right away. For me, it was more like campfire smoke. But that it has a sweet aftertaste, which I'm also feeling. But their sweet aftertaste goes all the way to creme brulee. I wasn't feeling that. I was feeling like maybe, you know, some like candied oranges or something. I wasn't thinking, although creme brulee, that's real sweet for me. But, you know, that's one of the things that we talk a lot about in coffee is that, like, when we're talking about flavor notes or tasting notes, we're not talking about like the dominant flavor, but more like the echo of a flavor, like kind of aftertaste of a flavor that you might get. So still not getting aftertaste of creme brulee, no, but I definitely got the smokiness early on. All right, well, this was a really exciting flight. two from Brandywine, who's some of my favorite roasters, one from Think Coffee here in New York, one from La Colombe in Philly. And La Colombe and Think Coffee are, both people who have been known for a kind of daily grind game. And I've gone to them and enjoyed their coffee for that in New York. But these are two sort of unusual coffees from them. And I think that that's one of the great things about Angel's Cup is that even from roasters that you may know already, you really get a kind of different experience. And there's also tons of variety in this in terms of moving from like super acidic to something that feels a little bit smoky, to something that feels a little malty. There's just a lot of different things happening here. So thanks for following along on this week's cupping, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Consider stopping by nycundergrounds.com if you are in New York and want to join us on a coffee tour. Otherwise, I'll see you at the next Angel's Cup